This is the Phoebe and Kara and Kara and Phoebe and Phoebe and Kara show. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Kara and Phoebe show. Woo! Woo! This is the Phoebe.
Oh.
Excellent.
So in this edition,
We decided to talk about vacations.
vacation.
Okay, so what's the best vacation? Or, a couple of the best vacations, whatever.
For me,
Yeah.
had to be California. Oh! Hello! Okay, so last edition we talked about obsessions. I missed one. California is my obsession. So, my best vacation would have to be... Oh no, I have a lot. But California was awesome because obviously I was in California and I was on the beach in California and I got to go see Universal Studios. And in my last trip to California, I was checking out one of my schools that I want to go to for my master's. And if I do, I'd get to work on the back lots in California and that'd be awesome. And so I got to take a private tour of Universal Studios backlots. That was really cool. I loved that. And I got to sit down in one of my classes that I would be taking. So it was awesome. And I was looking for apartments, except that we didn't actually get to look at any. We got to look at, like, pictures, which I can do online, so bummer. But whatever. So that's one. And then probably two of my favorite vacations, like with friends, would have to be my 21st birthday when we all went to Wisconsin Dells and we stayed at the Wilderness.
Yeah. Wilderness at the Lake.
Wilderness at the Lake, yes. And we had the most amazing room ever. Thank you, Mommy and Daddy, for that birthday present. It was awesome.
We need to do that again.
We do, because
it was so much fun.
It was amazing. And this time I'll be able to drink because I won't have to worry about anyone being underage. I had to put a ban on my friends who were under 21, which sucked because it was like half of my friends. And they weren't allowed to drink because I didn't want my parents getting in trouble. So I was sober for my 21st birthday party because I was scared to get drunk and have something happen. But it's okay. I made up for it. And then my other would have to be spring break last year when me, Matt, Anthony, and Andrea, I love you, Andrea, went, yeah, but they met us later. So I'm getting to them. Went to...
Are you going to tell the whole story?
No. I am going to give you highlights. So me and Matt and Andrea and Anthony drove to Tomah, Wisconsin and got a lake house, except that it was a snowstorm outside and our car broke down. And we didn't know where we were. And we were, like, broke down in front of a barn that had sparks coming out of the back. So we were freaking out, but then we got there safe and sound, and it was cool. But our car broke down, and we literally were in the middle of nowhere with no type of way to get anywhere because our car broke down. And so then we figured out that none of our cell phones worked except Matt's. And well, not in the house anyway. And then the only place our cell phones worked were at the top of this hill that went down, that led to the bottom where our house was. And so the guys left us in me and Andrea in the middle of the night to go get stuff for the car, and we weren't thinking, and we pretty much put ourselves into our own little horror movie because me and Andrea were alone in the middle of the night with no type of communication and no vehicle. And what did we do? We got in our swimsuits and got in the jacuzzi, and then her phone went off, and we talked to Ray and Steven, and so they came up and met us, and all was well, except that when we were trying to drive home after Matt and Anthony fixed Anthony's car, it broke down again. And so, okay, Matt and Anthony are not tiny guys. Matt's 6'4", and Anthony's like 6'2". And it was me, Anthony, and Matt in the back seat of Ray and Steven's car. And it was a long trip home. And then we had to drive all the way back to Wisconsin to pick up Anthony's car and all the way home. But what should have been a really, really, really sucky like time ended up being like one of the best weekends ever. So I love you guys.
Okay, so my number one vacation was Myrtle Beach 2 years ago with my best friends. We drove, me, Sean, Katie, and Jerome. They drove up early to Chicago, and then we left and drove all the way to Myrtle Beach. Well, actually, we drove to Columbia, South Carolina, which is where our friends live, and then we went to Myrtle Beach the next day. And we stayed there for a week at Pirate Land, which is the best place in the freaking world, and I love it. And it was pretty much just me and my best friends for an entire week. It was amazing. And they're my best friends that I met on the internet, so, I don't get to see them that often. We're all scattered across this country for the most part. Except a lot of them started moving to Chicago, which I love, because it's pretty easy to see them now. And then we didn't go this year, which was sad, but we're going next year. So I'm excited. This summer we're going. And we party cruised and regular cruised and swam in the ocean, and there were creepy albino men. And we went to see Valencia. There's an obsession, Valencia. You should buy their CD, because they only sold like 10,000 copies, and they're seriously one of the best bands in the world. And it's ridiculous that they only sold 10,000 copies, if even. It's very depressing. My other one, I don't know, probably, I don't know if I can pick a specific camping time. I guess maybe the last time we were in Saugatuck. Just because I can't really, anytime we were in Saugatuck, I guess. Just because I love that town, and I loved that campsite. And it was like the most perfect place to camp ever. And I really wish that they didn't close it. I really don't understand why they did, because it was the perfect campsite. They had nice bathrooms, they had washers and dryers, they had a lake, they had a giant sand hill, it had everything. They had everything. Love that place. What else? Probably also Marco Island in Florida. I went with my mom one year. My mom and I used to go on spring break, like for a couple of years we went, for when I was in beginning years of college. And it was a really nice hotel. I think we stayed at like a Hilton maybe. And it was like the best hotel room I've ever stayed in. And like such a beautiful pool, and we got massages, and it was perfect.
Very nice.
It was such a nice vacation.
I would say my favorite family vacation that I've had is when me and my mommy and my daddy drove down to Texas, because that's where half my family lives, in Texas. So, hi to all my beautiful family. I love you in Houston and Dallas. But yeah, we drove to Texas, which, if you've ever just driven straight through, is something like 13 or 14 or 15 hours straight through. But we stopped in every state and made that our vacation, and then ended with the family, and it was so cool. We stayed at a hotel with a guitar-shaped pool when we were in Graceland, and we got to go see Elvis's house. That was awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, and then when I went to Vegas with our family friends, the Browns, and they're pretty much like our second family, and that's my little Angel and my Rachel, and they're like my little sisters. And now we have Steven and Jordan, my new pumpkins. They are my precious babies. I love them so much. And so, but before they were born, and I think when Rachel was still like 4 or 5, Lord, I don't even know, we all went to Vegas together, and they messed up our reservations. So we ended up staying at Bally's in this amazing suite. And so we just spent the entire vacation. That's the vacation I was talking about before, when I made my parents take me to see Bring It On our last night there. But it was so amazing. So amazing. I love Bally's. So you should stay there if you ever get a chance in Vegas.
I stayed at MGM. Anyways, what I was going to say. Okay, quickly, because we're almost out of time. My worst/best vacation combined last year, when me, Mo, and Katie drove to Philadelphia. We stopped in Zanesville at like 3 in the morning to visit some of our friends. That's Ohio, by the way. Drove straight through the night, went to a show. By the way, it was to see Valencia, so really, check them out. They're awesome. And drove back the next day so we could come home and see the Hush Sound, which also, another great band. Very sad that Chris left. Breaks my heart. Anyways, point is, drove straight through the night 2 days in a row. 3 of us.